Unit 1 of AP Biology is Chemistry of Life, which weighs 8 to 11% on the AP exam. Unit 1's key concepts includes property of water and the 4 macromolecules. Water is one of the most important substances on Earth. It is a polar molecule that forms hydrogen bonds with each other. Water dissolves other polar substances. Water has cohesive and adhesive properties, making them sticky. Water has high surface tension and high heat capacity. The 4 macromolecules are carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, and nucleic acids. Carbohydrates link together to form starch and cellulose, storing energy. Proteins' different structure determines their different functions, including transporting, supporting, growing, etc. Lipids do not form polymers and do not dissolve in water. Phospholipid is known for its amphipathic property being both hydrophilic and hydrophobic, and nucleic acid contributes to our DNA information. Unit 2 is on cell structure and function that weighs 10 to 13% on the exam. 2 types of cells are prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells. Eukaryotic cells are also classified as animal cells and plant cells. They both have membrane-bonded nucleus and organelles. They both have mitochondria, Golgi apparatus, the ER's lysosome, cytoplasm, ribosome, and vesicles. Plant cells have cell wall, a central vacuole, and chloroplast. Unit 3 is on cellular energetics that weighs 12 to 16% on the national exam. The most important concepts in this unit are cellular respiration and photosynthesis. These 2 reactions are the opposite of each other, as one uses energy in the sunlight to form glucose and the other uses glucose to produce ATP and energy. Unit 4 is on cell communication and cell cycle that weighs 10 to 15% on the national exam. Cell communicates through signal transduction pathways that allows for local and long-distance cell signaling. The cell cycle is divided into G1, S, G2, and M phase. M phase is where cells divide. M phase is also divided into PMET and cytokinesis, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase, referred to PMET. The do and don'ts I have for AP Biology are: do start practicing AP level questions early on, and do not wait until the last minute to study or review. And the good thing is that because they're similar, so really they do have content that overlaps along the course instead of waiting until the last second, because that will prompt you better. I'm planning to go to UCI, and I really want to study biomedical engineering. For that major, and even though College Board said that watches are allowed, I was not allowed to bring one with me during the test. So it's really important to receive yourself while you're taking the practice exams, so you know how long it takes you to read questions and stuff. For both of the multiple choice and FRQ. And I would like to compare AP Biology with APES, since I'm taking both AP Biology and APES at the same time this year. They're similar but very different. Both being AP courses, they have a lot in the content that we have to study throughout the year, and AP Biology definitely requires more depth on the knowledge, instead of for APES, you just need to know the concepts or the terms, but you don't really have to study the reactions or the steps of the procedures. And please keep in mind that even though APES has more multiple choice questions, I had plenty of time to take it. Compared to biology, I was actually running short, and I did not finish all of my multiple choice questions. It takes definitely longer time to read the AP Biology questions compared to the APES questions. Even though I probably wouldn't recommend anybody to take these 2 courses at the same time, because the two AP tests are also on the same day. So if you do think that you want to take both AP Environmental Science and AP Biology, just know that they're usually on the same day. So you will be taking one after another. And that's like 6 hours of testing straight.
Unit 5 is heredity, and a big part of Unit 5 is meiosis. So here are the outline steps of meiosis. In step 1, the DNA replicates, and in step 2, it's crossing over, which increases genetic diversity. Step 3 shows meiosis 1, and in which the original cell is split into 2 cells. And step 4 shows meiosis 2, where the 4 resulting cells are all haploid, and from the original cell, which is diploid. Another concept in genetics problems is Punnett squares, which you use when you're given the genotypes of the parents and you're trying to determine the possible genotype and or phenotype of the offspring. So basically, you list the possible genotypes for each parent at the top and one in the left, and then you just list all the possible combinations and then count the resulting combinations. And at the below, I wrote the phenotype ratios, and these can be different depending on the problem. Unit 6 is gene expression, and these are some of the key processes. DNA replication is when DNA makes an exact copy of itself, and it's important to remember like the key functions of the enzymes. Transcription is when an mRNA script is created from DNA, and translation is when tRNA creates a chain of polypeptides from mRNA at ribosomes. Gene regulation is the regulation of genes and whether they're expressed or not. So here is an operon, which is an example of gene regulation, and the RNA polymerase transcribes mRNA only depends on whether the repressor is activated or not. So like if it's activated, then no transcription will occur. Unit 7 is natural selection, and natural selection is one of the causes for evolution, and the other causes such as mutation, gene flow, genetic drift, and non-random mating are all mostly random processes. And some evidence for evolution include fossil records, anatomical records, and molecular records. Hardy-Weinberg equations is like a way to measure the genotype ratios in a population that satisfies certain conditions. And phylogenetic trees is just a tree that shows the common ancestorship between different species. And here I just drew a random example of what such a tree looks like. Unit 8 is ecology, and one important thing to know is the different cycles of matter. And here is an example of a carbon cycle. So the arrows indicate processes such as photosynthesis, respiration, combustion, etc. And this is actually one of the simpler cycles. I think nitrogen cycle is more complicated. Here are some more main concepts. A trophic level in a food chain is it goes from producer to primary consumer, etc. And when going up each trophic level, the amount of energy decreases by a factor of 10, which is the 10% rule. And then also on the right, there's a survivorship curve of different species. The red curve is case-selected species such as humans, and the blue curve is R-selected species such as most insects. For do's and don'ts in this course, I would recommend doing the embedded quizzes in science music videos. I think they help understanding of the material. And for don'ts, I would not recommend sleeping during class or like missing too many classes for no reason, because then you can get like really behind and it's not good. For comparison, compared to AP Physics C, I think this class is like more memorization, but like less math. And since I'm good at math, and I feel like Physics C is easier for me. And I have not taken the AP exam yet. For Dream College, it's probably Caltech, although I did get rejected. So my intended major is mathematics. Two most valuable skills I gained from this course are I got better at procrastinating, and I also learned some useful notability skills. For example, like how to fill a shape with like a color. I didn't know how to do that before I take this class.